Before I get into this video, I just want to make a few things clear that the topics in the video has already been stated in the title, which is abuse. So if you're not comfortable with anything related to abuse, please do not watch this video. The Turpin family case, which unfolded in 2018, sent shockwaves through society as the details of the horrific abuse endured by the Turpin children came to light. The case exposed a deeply disturbing reality and extreme neglect, imprisonment and manipulation within the confines of a seemingly ordinary suburban family. David and Louise Turpin, parents of 13 children, presented the illusion of normalcy to the outside world. Living in Paris, California, they homeschooled their children and attended church, maintaining an image that concealed the unimaginable suffering occurring within their home. In January 2018, law enforcement discovered this shocking truth when one of the Turpin daughters managed to escape and alert authorities. The Turpin children, aged between 2 to 29 at the time of the discovery, lived in the disgusting conditions where they were malnourished, chained to furniture, and subjected to extreme physical and emotional abuse. The house reeked of filth, mainly urine and feces from humans, not from animals, because their parents wouldn't allow them to go to the toilet sometimes, meaning they had nowhere else to go except for anywhere but the bathroom. Upon the rescue of the Turpin children, their parents were arrested and faced charges of torture, child endangerment and false imprisonment. The legal proceedings received widespread attention as the horrifying details of the case unfolded in court. The Turpin parents eventually pleaded guilty to multiple charges in 2020, leading to life sentences with the possibility of parole after 25 years. The Turpin family case promoted a reassessment of child protective services and homeschooling regulations. Questions arose about how such severe abuse could go undetected for so long. The case highlighted the need for increased vigilance and scrutiny in monitoring homeschooled children and ensuring their well-being. The long-term physiological impact on the Turpin children is immeasurable. Years of abuse, isolation, and manipulation have undoubtedly left lasting scars on their mental and emotional well-being. Rehab and support services are crucial for their recovery and reintegration into society. The Turpin family case serves a stark reminder of the horrors that can occur behind closed doors. It promoted a re-evaluation of the societal structures, highlighting the importance of vigilant communities, robust child protective services, and a collective commitment of safeguarding the well-being of vulnerable individuals. The tragedy of the Turpin family underscores the need for ongoing efforts to prevent and address cases of abuse and neglect, ensuring that no child ever suffers in silence. The only reason to why the case came to light was because of the 17-year-old at the time, Georgian Turpin. She had climbed out of her bedroom window and she had taken one of her brother's mobile phones to contact the police and tell them what has happened. At the time she had called the police, 2 of her younger siblings were chained down to their beds. To think that a perfectly happy family would be going through such a horrific state is horrible to think about. The fact that 13 children and 2 abusive parents who would neglect, imprison, and what the hell? The fact that they looked so happy and normal is insane to me. I cannot fathom what made them do that. I cannot fathom that. If you look at some of the photos that are online, you would never have guessed that that family would be going through such a horrific state at all, especially the children. The family had actually moved from Texas in the middle of the night a few years back before this case was actually unfolded. They left without a single word to their kids and they just fled. And when the case was actually reported, they were supposed to be moving to Oklahoma for David's quote-unquote job. He had stated to the police that he had to move states because of his job as an engineer. But that was obviously false because they'd done that before with no explanation. They had done it to simply just run away from the problems and not get caught by the police. Neighbours actually had reported to the police after the case was unfolded about how whenever the children actually came out, they would be very pale, very malnourished, were very skinny, and just they weren't well. The oldest Turpin child at the age of 29 was actually 82 pounds, which is equivalent to 5 stone and around 50 kilograms. She was that malnourished that they couldn't tell she was actually a 29-year-old girl. This case of the Turpin family is actually absolutely disgusting. The fact that parents could do this to their children. The fact that two parents could do this to their children is absolutely shocking to me. As I'd stated before about Louise and David going to church, they had actually stated in one of their police reports that they didn't actually want to restrict any of them. They just wanted to keep them safe, and they said that they wanted God to do his work and lead them. In Louise's police report, she had also stated that she didn't want to use any type of restriction to the children but she felt like she had to because they were eating too much sugar and too much fat foods. Like, no offence, Louise, but you're literally fat, so I think you should be restricted from eating your fatty foods instead of restricting your own children. Restricting children from their basic needs, which you might class as necessities, is fucking vile. They restricted them from using the bathroom, as I had stated earlier. They weren't allowed more than one shower per year. I thought just being restricted to one shower a week was bad. But once a year is shocking. I can't wrap my head around this type of shit. Like, how can someone be so vile to their children that they're literally taking away their basic human rights to the point where they are literally... I can't even get my words out at the moment. They get restricted from using the toilet too much, so they have to go around the house and just leave their waste there. When they were in Texas and they had two dogs, they completely abandoned them to the point where those dogs were just eating diapers with human feces in it. And I can't wrap my head around it. It's completely shocking. The Turpin family is disgusting. Not the entire family, but just David and Louise. I simply cannot get my head around how two parents could be so evil to their children. Like, I thought just having some of your basic needs taken away from you if you'd like misbehaved for like a day. Like, say you're not getting one meal. Okay, because I just said one meal, they only had one meal in their house per day. 1 meal per day. Sometimes they would not eat for some of the days because they misbehaved. And one of the only reasons why the two children were chained down to their beds when Jordan had left the house to call the police was because they had stolen their mother's food because they were hungry. Jordan has also stated while she was speaking to one of the officers that if you told her that you were hungry, she wouldn't do anything about it. She would simply just not give you the food. And when you were throwing up because you were that starved and that malnourished, she would be like, "Why didn't you tell me? I would have given you some." No, you wouldn't have, Louise. You wouldn't have not have done that at all, would you? No, you wouldn't. I don't get how parents could be so cruel to their own children, their own blood, their own offsprings. I don't understand that. It's horrible. It's actually horrible. I don't see how people can have 13 or less children and completely treat them like shit. The only reason why the Turpin family actually had 13 children was because they were a religious family. They were a religious family and they wanted to have a load of offsprings to carry on the family. It's fucking vile. It's absolutely vile. But, this is the world we live in. And I wish it wasn't because of all the shit that goes on. Like, with abuse, murder, all of that shit, it's vile. We shouldn't live in a world where this shit is happening daily. weekly, monthly, hourly, minutely, if that's even a f***ing word. It's insane to me. Absolutely disgusting and revolting. The only good thing about this entire case is that that David and Louise Turpin will both be spending their life in prison, and after 25 years maybe even being put on parole, and that will be it. And I'm glad. I hope it stays that way. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video, and I hope you all have a good day, and I hope you enjoyed this video. The next topic I will be covering will be a very cool one. It's about a man called Ed Gein. It's not really cool because he murdered a few people. But beside the fact, apart from that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will have another video tomorrow up, or maybe even today. You never know.